I'm glad to be here with you today. And one of the reasons I'm glad to be here is that it will be an opportunity for me to present to you our policies on cultural heritage in the future, and mainly to show how important is Europeana as a major platform for our policy in this field. I must say that it was not an easy endeavor to support Europeana when we started. Before taking this job, in which I am since 6 months, before I was responsible for the strategy for research and innovation, in particular the program that supports Europeana directly, and I had to fight every year the members of the committee internally to ensure that we get the support to this project. And it was not easy, because there were doubts at the beginning whether Europeana would make it, whether we would be able to build a platform. And people would say, why not Google? Why can't Google do it? Why can't anyone else do it? Why do we need to support Europeana? I had to explain how important is this. And I totally agree with George Boris on the importance of projects like this for the European construction. And this is the argument that we've put forward all the time. It's platforms like these that enable us to strengthen the European project as a whole. So you see the importance. I put the pressure on all of you to make sure that we continue to succeed. With 19 million objects today, I think we're beyond the 15 million, no? Okay, so we're at 19 million objects, and you see that we have our ambition to go further than that, much further than this. This is what I'll try to show you today. And I will talk about a set of policy initiatives that will come in the next 3 months around the subject, where Europeana is a central pillar, and I will talk ultimately at the end about our project for financing Europeana and where we will get the money and what type of activities we're thinking about. We need your help to help us refine what we will be able to do with the support to Europeana. And one of the issues that we'll be addressing is, of course, the openness, the sharing of the resources, and how this could work. Now, this is what I'll be talking about. I mean, I'll start with Digital Agenda for Europe, just to remind you all. I'm sure that, so those of you familiar with the subject know how important is cultural heritage and digitization of cultural heritage, access to cultural heritage and reuse of cultural heritage is important within the Digital Agenda for Europe, our framework policy for digital economy and society. There, I mean, we mentioned, of course, Europeana and the need to ensure a sustainable support to Europeana. Today, Europeana is supported from the Competitiveness Innovation Program, which is an innovation program, where we saw pilots and testing. We would like to ensure a sustainable support outside a programmatic approach. So we'll come back to that later. This is what we promised in Digital Agenda for Europe, approved by the member states and the parliament. We said we go for a digital internal market. I mean, in addition to the support Europeana, the cultural heritage is part of the development of the, of course, internal market and the internal market for content. We also said that we will work on the legislative framework, and I'll come back to that. And we will be updating our recommendation on digitization, and we will be looking at how culture will be addressed within the public sector information and our policy for open data. This is all there. But in order to move, we've put that in Digital Agenda, and the first thing that our Commissioner, Vice President Cruz, has done, she attaches a lot of importance to this, she said, okay, let's get a sort of comité des sages, of wise women and men, who could tell us how can we refine the strategy, and we had this report, very important report, Comité des sages. It's sort of our reference document on how to move forward in this area. I'm sure you know it because it was presented to you several times. Interesting things in this report. Of course, Europeana, central piece, but also digitization as a real policy priority and moral obligation that all member states should be engaging in. What is also important is the looking for means to support Europeana and link with the private sector. Can we build public-private partnerships that are in line with our policy for culture? I come back to that. This was highlighted in the report, but the report also highlighted the need, if we do it, to maintain openness, transparency, etc. Two main challenges, if I summarize the two main policy challenges emerging from what I just said that we need to address: the funding challenge. The report talks about hundreds of billions of euros if we want to digitize the whole cultural heritage of Europe. Where do we get the money from? This is one thing. And the 100 billion will not find them at EU level. We'll have to find them in the member states, and we'll have to find them in partnerships whenever it's possible. The legal challenge, also a very important one, is how can we adapt our legal framework to be able to contribute digitization of all content, and including in copyright material. These are the two challenges, and these are the challenges that we're trying to address in our policy initiatives that I mentioned. Let me start with a recommendation on digitization. This is one of the things that we promised that we will do in the digital agenda, and it's upcoming. It should be issued in the next 4 to 5 weeks. We will have a new recommendation on digitization that will address 5 points in general. The support to Europeana, we'll explain how we're going to support it. We promised, this time we say, this is the idea. We're already prepared for this, and you'll see it. We'll also talk about public-private partnerships. It's an issue that was mentioned in the Comité des Sages, an issue that we said we will address the digital agenda. What we tried to do in this recommendation is look at the best practices in terms of public-private partnership. And the key issue is, can we build partnership while maintaining the openness of the platforms, while maintaining the openness of the access to digital content, and maintaining the openness of the reuse of the cultural heritage? How can we do that? How can we do that? And this is the sort of thing that we'll be addressing, or the issue that we'll be addressing in this recommendation that is coming soon. Principles on openness, what do we mean by openness? And the importance of public domain for digitized material, and also we'll address how can we bring in copyright works into Europeana. This is a recommendation that is coming. It should be in the next, on the table in the, I would say, 3rd week to 4th week of November. This is our planning, 4 to 5 weeks. But it's not the only thing that we're preparing. Also, between now and end of the year, should be late November or early December, we're coming with a complete package, what we call our Open Data Initiative. A package on open data that would cover all types of public sector information. It has a central legislative pillar in it, which is the revision of the PSI directive, Public Sector Information Directive. You might say, well, I mean, how does this relate to culture? Well, we will propose to extend the scope. We're currently reflecting on how to do that, but it is in our planning to extend the scope of public sector information to the cultural area, but with all the caveat and all the specificity that this sector requires. You know, several member states have already announced that we should be very cautious with this, and they're right, we'll be cautious, but we would like the openness for reuse of cultural material to be part of our strategy for open data for the future. Open data is about open access, but also mainly about reuse. How can we reuse existing public sector information? We will announce a revision of the directive on PSI. We will announce also a whole set of measures going from promotion, networking, sharing of best practices, to piloting, testing, to research, to innovation that will support an open data policy by which we would like the Union to make the best out of the resources existing in the public sector, including cultural material, and would address both non-commercial and commercial purposes. I will not say more on that because this is work in preparation. It will come hopefully beginning of December or also late November. It'll be a complete package, and we'll focus on the importance of open metadata in particular, and I know it's a very important issue for the discussion today and for Europeana in general. So this is also in preparation. You'll have the digitization, you'll have the open data package in which cultural material will be included, And we will indicate there what is our ambition for Europeana, how far do we want to go, reaching the 30 million objects by 2015, or something coming from you, we put there, and we will put the resources behind it for the EU part of this work, which is the aggregation of the content, the support to the portal, and the support to the tool that will enable better access, improvement of the use of this platform. But so we will announce this, but we will also, in part of our policy, as I mentioned before, we want Europeana to be a platform, a hub for the creative industries. We'll insist on this reuse issue. It's new, it's evolving, and Europeana is for us an example of how can we build at EU scale a platform of resources that can be reused by creators, by innovators. This is in the cultural sector. We'll be developing something similar to Europeana, and hence the importance of this platform in other areas. A platform, EU scale, aggregating content with the support of the member states, support of cultural institutions, in the case of Europeana, other institutions and others, that we can put at the disposal of innovators, creators, to support growth, jobs, and creation in the context of Europeana. And, as I said before, we would like Europeana also to include more and more copyright material. I hope that this is also in line with your aspirations. It should be. At least, if we're out of scope, tell us. The open knowledge for Europeana. So, if we want to ensure reuse, if we want to ensure sharing of information, openness is key. We think about open content when we talk about openness. Digitized public domain material must stay in the public domain. This is essential. Open metadata, something I know we'll be debating. Its importance for us. So the data exchange agreement, we think it's a central pillar of our strategies for Europeana for the future. Your feedback, the way it is progressing, is very important for us to refine our work or the way we would like to support this field and our policies in this field. And, of course, open software, as well as part of the openness of the platform itself. Those of you who were at the Digital Assembly in June saw the hackathon or results of the hackathon experience. It was surprising to see how it had been, how successful it was with such a short time of preparation. And this is something to build on for the future. Okay, these are hints of our policies on cultural material, the role of Europeana, but also I expanded a bit on public sector information, culture within the public sector information policy, etc. Let's come to the support to Europeana, financial support. I said we will support it. 2012-13, it will continue to be supported from the Competitors Innovation Program, where we will be having a big chunk on digital content and cultural material. And the intention is to maintain our support in the order of 40–50 million euro to this field in the next 2 years, out of which we will support the aggregation of content in Europeana, the way we've done it before. We will continue to do that, but we would also support more the reuse of this content, so operational reuse, links to creative industries. We'd like him to bring in more the creative industries around Europeana. We'll be opening to pilots, to testing, how can we reuse this material? And in addition to Europeana, just in line with this general policy in open data, we'll have other actions that touches public sector information that also encourage the reuse of this material, public sector information, be it geographic information, be it open access to scientific information, or general other types of public sector information. This is what we are foreseeing in 2012 and most probably in 2013 also in the CIP. They will be part of the work programs. CIP work program should be already public by also in the next 5 weeks, so end of November. It will be officially approved early January by the Commission, but as soon as it is approved by the Committee of Member States, we will make it public, and it's usually early December. So you'll see in detail what we'll be calling for once it is approved by the Member States. So this is 2012-13. What is beyond 2013? We have already announced, as part of our proposal for the next financial framework, we have already announced that we will be supporting the continuation of Europeana as a permanent infrastructure. So we'll take it out of the innovation program. We will put it as part of the infrastructure support, what we call the Connecting Europe facility. This is about cross-border infrastructure in energy, transport, and in information communication technologies. And the total budget for the Connecting Europe facility, including transport, energy, and ICT, is around 40 billion euro. This is what we are proposing. There'll be 9 for energy, 21 for transport, and there will be 9.2 billion euros for ICT. These are not all for Europeana, you know. There we will be supporting broadband. In particular, a large part of this will be on high-speed internet and the support to broadband deployment. But we also announced there that we will support 9 European digital service infrastructures, one of which is Europeana. We already announced it there, and it is proposed by the Commission as part of this package, and we will be on the 19th of October, so next week. It is planned that the Commission will announce the details of this 9.2 billion euro and the details of what we will be supporting in Europeana. Just to say, in our planning, this is all draft, provided it's approved by the Commission next week, a proposal to the Member States for Europeana to continue the support to the aggregation to the portal, but also possibility to share digitization effort if needed and when cultural institutions and Member States are interested in doing so. We could, if there is a reason for mutualizing digitization effort, we can be also interested in supporting that. But the clear part is continuous support to aggregation, continuous support to the portal itself. This will be as part of a permanent infrastructure to be supported from 2014 to 2020. So it will be there, and with that proposal, the Commission would have fulfilled its promises, what we said we'll do in the Digital Agenda for Europe, that is proposing a sustainable model support for this platform, Europeana. So this is our plans for support in addition to the policies. And if you want to summarize all this, Europeana is an example of what we can do. I repeat that in terms of public sector information, pooling of resources, cultural resources in this case, and support of creators, innovators. We will continue to support Europeana, the openness for access and reuse. We'll try to, as much as possible, to make creators benefit from this, enrich Europeana in addition to the access to for all to the European cultural resources. We will continue improving the framework conditions for digitalization, online access, and digital preservation of cultural material. I've not talked about our work on the copyright framework. This is work done with our colleagues in DG Markt, and you know about the latest signature. It's not a legal act, but the Memorandum of Understanding on digitalization of in-copyright work that has been done. So we will continue doing all this, and I hope that we can count on you. And if we're out of scope, please tell us. Thank you very much.